Spence and Pacquiao.
What? Yeah. I don't count Manny out. Don't count Manny. Everybody, you look at that fight and you say, come on. It's an easy fight for Spence. That's what people said when Manny fought De La Hoya. Don't count Pacquiao out. He has something special about him.
You know Manny very well. What's the smallest thing that you think's gonna trouble Spence in the ring? Like, what's anything stand out? Like,
yeah, because of the way that Pacquiao moves. Remember the De La Hoya fight when he was in with a slower guy like De La Hoya who knew how to fight? He went. He attacked from the left side. By the time De La Hoya responded, Pacquiao was on the other side. He's a very, very difficult fighter to fight. Now, if he starts standing in there and slugging it out with Spence, who's much bigger, then he has problems. But if he keeps moving and pecks away at Spence, he'll win the fight.
Manny hasn't faced a southpaw in a very long time. Do you think that will come into play at all?
Nah, it doesn't matter for Pacquiao. His style, it doesn't matter.
Manny Pacquiao's taking on Errol Spence Jr. He'll be 42. What do you make of Manny Pacquiao taking on this kind of fight at this point? I
love it. It's right up my alley. I mean, yeah, go and fight the best, man. No matter what age, it doesn't matter. You know, go prove to yourself that you can do it. You know, that's what Manny is.
Yeah.
So, and I think Manny has a great shot.
Yeah.
As much as I love Spence, I mean, Spence is one of the best fighters out there today. And Spence wants to be great, which I respect.
I know you faced Manny Pacquiao like 11 years ago, but just from what you see now, do you still see the things that troubled you, maybe trouble him?
Yeah, he's fast. He's fast. He's a fast fighter. He's fast twitch, and he's got a lot of footwork. Spence has to be careful with his footwork. I think Spence is maybe a tad bit slower than Pacquiao. That might be the difference, but if Spence can time him and pressure him, I think Spence has a great shot.
Yeah.
But Pacquiao is Pacquiao, you know.
¿Cómo ves esa pelea entre Manny Pacquiao y Errol Spence?
Es una pelea muy complicada para Pacquiao. Errol Spence es un peleador fuerte, joven, zurdo, y eso le va a complicar la existencia a Pacquiao. Yo no entiendo cuál fue la motivación para subirse al ring con Spence, pero
maybe el dinero no es suficiente motivación para uno. ¿Cómo ves esto?
Es que no, pues cuánto le están dando, cuánto le están ofreciendo por la pelea, no sé, pero es una pelea muy complicada.
Le pregunté a Margarito y dice que él piensa que sí va a tener que hacer una ocasión como la que hizo contra él en Dallas, de tirar más que 1000 golpes. ¿Tú qué piensas que tiene que hacer Manny Pacquiao para poder salir con la mano arriba esa noche de agosto 21?
De verdad no lo sé.
Left hand was basically like a right hand, that jab, but you know, two guys who fight as southpaws, Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao. Everyone, you know, Nonito Donaire, that was an awesome picture y'all had. He was telling me that both guys being southpaws is more of a detriment to Pacquiao because a lot of his game functions on getting to that blind side against a righty. What do you think Manny can do to pull off an upset? What are your thoughts on the fight?
I mean, what's working against Manny is that Manny is a guy that he relies on his engine. You know, he's a guy that just you wind him up and you let him go. He's getting older, man. He's got a lot of fights and a lot of tough fights, especially late. I still think he has, you know, a good amount left in the tank, but how much? The rest for him is good that the break that he had, but it's not good for rest. It's good for your health. It's not good for the rest factor. So we're gonna see glimpses of the old Manny, but it's not gonna be the Manny we've been accustomed to seeing. And that's gonna work in Spence's favor. And Spence has to prove that he's got another gear, right? Because I think Manny's gonna force him to fight there. So we're either gonna see Spence rise to the occasion, or we're gonna see him get left behind. And I believe we're gonna see Spence rise to the occasion. So even though Manny's got all the accolades, I give Spence the edge in this fight. And he beats Manny Pacquiao and dominates Manny Pacquiao, he's gonna be atop that pound for pound list.
It seems like Tim and Nonito, they were talking about just that jab. is going to be one of the hardest things for Manny to deal with. What's the keys to this fight?
I think it's more than that. I think it's the jab. I think it's, you know, people, because of the way Errol goes about his business in the ring, people can misread him. Right? It looks steady. Like, okay, what? He's physically strong, and fundamentals are really hard to deal with, man. Especially when you start to get tired. And he's consistent and he's steady. It's like raindrops; they just keep coming. Right? He's not really a combination puncher. He can throw combination, but he's a pick'em fighter. Hop, 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 hop. You watch his mitt work with his coach. That's what they do. Hop, 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 and that's what he does in the ring. So I give a slight edge to Errol Spence, but Errol Spence is gonna have to be better than he's ever been, and man, he's gonna have to work really hard to deal with that young boy.
A fighter that definitely wasn't taken for granted is Manny Pacquiao. You can relate to him longevity-wise. Even though he's accomplished everything, man, even at 42 years old, he's taking on a challenge, a fight that he wants in Errol Spence Jr. August 21st, man. What do you make of him taking such a challenge?
I respect Pacquiao for taking the challenge he's taking. He's going to be a problem with any fighter because of his ability and his experience and his longevity of health. That's key. But Errol Spence will be victorious. I believe Errol Spence is fighting on a different level of mentality, a second chance in life. Yeah, he might not say it, or he might have said it already. But I'm pretty sure that he understands that every chance that he get to reflect in every day, boxing and non-boxing, and he will have that terrible accident that he can look at any time and know that he came from that, and then go in the ring and fight somebody that said they're going to do something to you. It's going to be hard to convince him, that is, Errol Spence, that you're going to be victorious. And on top of that is skills in this sweet science we call boxing. So between the motivation of the second time of life, especially in sports where you need your bones, you need your body, you need all these things that could have been wasted or tragically. That there, to me, along with his skills and learning and getting better, as I see, I don't see him getting beat for a long time.
Some people feel that could have made him a lesser fighter. It could have took years off his career.
Well, those people are fools. Those people are fools. They don't understand.
Even against Manny Pacquiao, a special fighter, even at 42 years old, you can relate to him. Does he stand any kind of chance to prove the doubters wrong in yourself? August 21st, Manny Pacquiao?
To do what?
To upset Errol Spence? Is there
he has that opportunity. Yeah, he's a threat. It's not an easy win, but it will be a win. If he makes it easy, then it's a whole new different conversation. I think this is more than just a win-win for him. I think this is a statement fight that he can deal with a guy that's been in there with every style and not get flustered as a young fighter that Spence still is, in spite of him overcoming. Normally you take a fight like that 3 or 4 fights after he recovered. But he only had one, right?
¿Qué me dices de tú tomando una exhibición y Manny Pacquiao todavía tomando peleas contra peleadores como Errol Spence Jr.? ¿Cómo tomas tú eso y cómo ves a esa pelea de Manny Pacquiao?
Bueno, es que Manny está chavo todavía, tiene 42, tengo 47. En realidad yo creo que eso demuestra hoy por hoy que el boxeo en el tiempo que yo estaba son peleas a agarrar al tú por tú. Yo creo que con Spencer es una pelea extraordinaria. Para mí yo creo que es el número 2 o 3 del mejor del mundo libra por libra. Y Manny sabe lo que él tiene, la capacidad. Es un peleador en toda extensión de la palabra. le gustan los retos, le gusta demostrarle a la gente, como lo ha demostrado con todos los que ha hecho. Entonces quiero felicitarlo y decirle que ahí voy a estar echándole porras. No me la pierdo, no puedo perder esa pelea.
Yo sé que fue hace 10 años que ustedes se enfrentaron o más, pero ¿tú cómo ves a Manny Pacquiao a este punto de su carrera, a base de su última pelea? ¿Qué esperas tú de Manny Pacquiao y si es posible de que esa noche se haga con la mano arriba?
Fíjate que yo le aplaudo, en verdad es un atleta en toda la extensión de la palabra. No es como el típico boxeador mexicano que no tienes peleas y te vas a engordar. Él es un boxeador que no tiene pelea y te juega 2 que 3 horas básquetbol y ejercicios y todo, por eso sí lo ves en forma. Yo le deseo lo mejor del mundo, muchísimo éxito. Sé de la capacidad de él, pero también sabemos de la capacidad de Spencer. Yo creo que 2 boxeadores entregados, lo mejor que hay actualmente, y es un regalo para todos nosotros que nos gusta el boxeo y que vivimos del boxeo.
¿Qué consejo le das a Spence? Última cosa.
A Spencer, muchísima condición física, porque Manny también la tiene. Sé inteligente, no dudo de tu capacidad, porque te vuelvo a colocar como el 2 o 3 del mundo libra por libra. Y disfruta tu pelea, porque arriba del ring es lo que uno hace, disfrutar lo que hace.
You've sparred with Errol Spence, you're on Pacquiao fighting Spence.
I just told the guys down there I wish both the guys nothing but the best. But Errol Spence, I want to see him win. I'm pushing for Errol Spence to win. Absolutely, that's my people. I'm going to always stand behind my people first. Just like the Philippines, they're going to stand behind Pacquiao. I'm in America, I'm going to stand behind my people first.
Do you think Manny can beat Errol Spence? Do you think he will?
I think, look, Spence and Crawford would be a big favorite against Manny Pacquiao. But you never count Manny Pacquiao out. Pacquiao is the kind of fighter that can rise to an incredible occasion. I remember when I put Manny in with Oscar De La Hoya, and they threatened to put me in jail in the Philippines for jeopardizing Pacquiao's life. And all the reporters here said what a mismatch it was. And it ended up, Pacquiao handled Oscar easily, and if it was a mismatch, it was a mismatch the other way.
This time it's a fresh guy in his prime, though. Right. So you think?
Yeah, well, we'll see. There are certain guys in life that you never count out, and one of them is Manny Pacquiao.